It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Let's talk roll-ups and the rumors around those roll-ups. Some of these rumors I'll actually start here today. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, rumors become reality quicker than ever in today's ever-changing world. But Dex Imaging, they broke away from Staples with Gamut Capital. Everybody's waiting for them to buy somebody. They're screaming, where the hell's Dex at? What are they going to buy next? I mean, Dex, you got so many people in the industry with so much anxiety. They're all waiting for you to pull the trigger and buy something. I believe Dex Imaging is just doing their due diligence. You know, Dex doesn't do dumb things. They're doing their due diligence. They're thinking about a strategy. We know that Dex Imaging, they don't really like the IT piece. Some of these folks have IT. NOVATECH, Marco, they got IT. Visual Edge, they got IT, but I think it's probably a mess, their IT. But when you think about NOVATECH and Marco, they got some really nice print businesses in those portfolios, right? So Dex has to figure out, how do I get the print piece and get rid of the IT piece? I'm sure that's what they're thinking. Well, I have a suggestion for them. I'm going to share that in a second. We'll start a new rumor. But before I do, I want to share with you why I believe it's taken Dex a little bit longer to go ahead and pull the trigger and make a deal. And the reason is because they have a portfolio company inside Gamut Capital that I think got Dex a little bit sidetracked. I mean, they saw this company and they thought to themselves, holy crap, we could do some things with that. So let me share that with you, and then we'll get into the roll-up rumors. Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Gamut Capital portfolio is a company called PetMate, and I believe Dex Imaging and the Doles are thinking to themselves, puppies in print. They got a little bit sidetracked, but look at that cute puppy. I mean, folks, there's a rumor out there right now that Visual Edge IT is going to have retired football players join in on Teams calls to help salespeople sell stuff. I'm thinking maybe the Doles found out about that, and they're thinking, hey, if you're going to have someone on a Teams call to help your salespeople sell stuff, it should be a puppy. I mean, everybody loves puppies. Not everybody loves retired football players. I mean, seriously, it'd be like, thanks for coming on the show. I mean, holy smokes. That puppy right there with that little whimper and the smile, they'll get customers signing checks like crazy. So this would be a good move for Dex to figure out how to do puppies in print. But now let's talk about what I believe they're actually doing. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll see three logos that I have over here, and I'm going to circle them. NOVATECH, Marco, and FlexPrint. What a unique group of companies. Could you imagine if Dex Imaging overnight had NOVATECH, Marco, and FlexPrint? Boy, they'd be really close to that billion, wouldn't they? But there's some issues with this. Because we all know that Dex Imaging hates IT. They don't want any part of IT inside that business. So they got to figure out something to do with the IT piece. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where strategy comes in play. Maybe I can help the Doles with a new strategy if they're not already thinking of this. You know, FlexPrint is owned by a company called Oval Partners. And Oval Partners has another roll-up called New Charter, and that's all about IT. I'm thinking Dex Imaging, get a hold of Oval Partners and tell them, hey, we'll go ahead and take FlexPrint from you so you can focus and invest in New Charter. But we also want to buy a company called NOVATECH that's got some IT. We want to give that to you. And we want to buy a company called Marco that's got some IT, and we want to give that IT to you. So we're left with just the print from NOVATECH and Marco. Boy, that would be a fantastic thing, wouldn't it? And then, of course, New Charters would get some IT business inside that roll-up. It only makes sense. After they get all that figured out, then they can go buy UBEO. And boy, once they buy UBEO, oh, they're at the $1 billion plus mark. The only one really left is Visual Edge IT. Well, we all know that Visual Edge IT is owned by Ares Capital, and it's basically a financial train wreck. You've seen the episodes. I mean, they haven't been able to pay their bill. It was in non-accrual for over a year. Ares Capital had to wipe out $49 million in losses last year. They got a loan right now that's in payment in kind. I mean, at the end of the day, the only way the Doles and Dex Imaging is going to buy Visual Edge IT is maybe through a bankruptcy, right? Now, I have shared that if you broke up Visual Edge IT into pieces, then a lot of folks out there might want to buy up the pieces. I'm still really looking hard at that. And I'm thinking, you know, we'll see how they do this year. But they're not really growing that company over there at Visual Edge IT. And sooner or later, the buyer that gets Visual Edge IT, well, it's going to be a really good deal for them. They just got to be a little bit patient. Sooner or later, Ares, patience will end. But ladies and gentlemen, Visual Edge IT, This was a big rumor. I heard this and I'm thinking to myself, wow, retired football players getting on the Zoom call to help the salespeople sell stuff. I'm thinking this is so ridiculous, but it could be true. I mean, it sounds kind of comical, and the Hall of Fame and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's all that Visual Edge posts out there is stuff about the Hall of Fame. I mean, every single day, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. It's like they don't really have a business at Visual Edge. They just support the Hall of Fame. But I noticed that it said that partnership was extended through 2026. And then I started thinking to myself, well, how is that possible? There could be some issues in December of 2025. Because in December of 2025 is when the maturity date's due on the loan that's in payment in kind with a principal of $33.4 million. And that loan was started out in 2017 with a maturity date of 8/22. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the same time that Visual Edge had all this crazy stuff where they couldn't pay that senior subordinate loan that was in non-accrual for over a year, and then Visual Edge had to wipe out the 48. I mean, it's just the whole thing's been a disaster. And I mean, they like a football analogy, so I just want to say this. Fumbling every time you get the ball results in disasters, and that's how I see Visual Edge. They just keep fumbling the ball. I want to share this again because I know there's a lot of people out there that are thinking, Visual Edge, they really should get sold. So remember the episode I did a while back and I took their 14 locations, I took the 6 areas, I came up with what I believe the revenues to be, and I based that off of the interview that Austin did with the guy with a hat about a year ago. Once I got that top line number, it was pretty easy to kind of figure this out. It's not rocket science. I'm thinking when I shared this episode though, I freaked out probably some of the leaders at Visual Edge. They're like, boy, how does Ray know more about our business than we do? Because you would think if they knew what was going on in that business, and these numbers are anywhere near right, they'd be like freaking out. By the way, there is an update. I hear that only 2 areas have growth year over year, and no areas are 100% of budget of the 6 areas. Only 2 have growth year over year. I mean, Visual Edge. Wow. And no areas are 100% of budget. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to share something with you. We have all this print revenue coming in, enable us to sell IT. This is what the leader, the CEO of Visual Edge said in the interview with the guy with the hat. And he was talking about how they have benefits over regional IT players because Visual Edge has all this money coming in from print. It allows them to do this IT stuff. And I just want to say this. I think that's not really correct. I think what the CEO of Visual Edge IT should really say is this. We have a BDC lender called Ares Capital that let us put our loan in non-accrual for over a year and then forgave $48.9 million worth of debt as they took a major equity position in our company. But it freed up so much cash for us that we were able to grow a little bit. Unfortunately, we still have over a $30 million loan in payment in kind. That's how we're able to go out there and grow our IT business. But obviously, if you look at the numbers, and if these numbers are correct in any way, shape, or form, we're not really growing. We're not really growing. And more importantly, we're not growing profitably. So as far as Visual Edge being bought up by Dex Imaging, I think Dex Imaging could buy up some of the pieces of Visual Edge. I think some of the pieces of Visual Edge could be sold to some others. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a lot of rumors ramping up as our industry goes through its evolution, goes through its disruption, goes through its consolidation. And Dex Imaging, as far as I'm concerned, is the only buyer for the roll-ups. And that's something all the roll-ups have to be thinking about. All these private equity-backed roll-ups, the only buyer out there at this point is Dex Imaging. And so we're going to see what they do. But they do have some power, and we will see some changes. And everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that will be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.